As we've been talking about the governor's executive order to close schools starting tomorrow for many, but all must be closed by this upcoming Wednesday. Our Betsy Singer sat down today with Senator Carla Nelson to further explain what this will look like for our local school districts.
You were ahead of the curve with the school closings because you helped draft the bill for e-learning, anticipating a closure.
Well, yes, we've had the e-learning bill for a few years, which allows schools in collaboration with their teachers to determine how can we have at least 5 days of e-learning for unusual circumstances. Often we think of weather.
So with the governor mandating that schools close, you agree with it, right? It was a bipartisan.
Yes, I totally applaud the governor for stating that schools will be closed starting March 18th through the 27th. However, superintendents always have the right to close schools when they believe it's in their district's best interest. And some are closing tomorrow and Tuesday as well. That's certainly a local decision. But I applaud the governor for stepping up and stating that at least during this particular time of the 18th through the 27th, all Minnesota schools will be closed. Really, the coronavirus, new virus, we've talked a lot about that. But if we're really serious about mitigating community spread, then our schools cannot be open. I visited with teachers, social workers over the weekend, parents who were saying, how can we keep kids 6 feet apart? How can we keep our schools without having 250 kids in the same spot at the same time? So I think those early guidance that was given on Friday was a little confusing to the school community, and I really appreciate the fact that the governor has stepped up. He and his staff visited with me Thursday in my Senate office to talk about some of these things, and the point that I made among many was that we need to make sure that our local superintendents are involved and that they have the ultimate authority to close a school. They can't supersede the governors, but they also can choose to close a school without the governor's blessing.
How is this going to look for, I know that we just assume everybody's got access to electronic learning, but not everybody does, especially in the smaller school districts.
Yes, and actually that is a concern. Of course, the number one goal is to keep our kids safe.
Yeah.
And to mitigate the spread of the disease. And so that has been paramount, certainly in my mind, and I believe the governors and all state legislators. So it is going to look different in every school, but school looks different in every school district. I am pleased to find out the superintendents that I've spoken with this morning have all had a variety of different scenarios they've been planning too. Some have been getting Verizon hotspots for deployment to students who don't have Wi-Fi or internet. Charter Spectrum has said they will give free 60 days internet access without hookup charges to kids, families whose kids who don't have that internet access now. So we see the communities stepping up, and many of our teachers have been planning. They've been doing things like flipped learning, and so this closure will be a time for our teachers, staff, superintendent leaders to look at how can we more readily deploy distance learning, digital learning, e-learning.
And this is for 10 days. This is short term, but it could very well be more long term.
I think it could. I think I get a sense that our school leaders are looking with that in mind. So we need to have these contingency plans in place. And if we look at what's happened in other countries, and if you look at the president's words, the governor's words, you know, this is not like planning for a blizzard.